Welcome everyone to another episode of Hitbox here on the Gaming Grounds Network. I am Guzzy. I'm here today with Derp,
Hi.
and we're here to focus on first-person shooters again. It's what Hitbox is about. We're quickly just going to jump into CS:GO. I know we've done a lot of CS:GO in our other episodes, but that's our most experienced FPS. So we're just going to do a little bit of an update on CS:GO. And Naylor, feel free to comment. Movie Star Rider signed Steel, the Brazilian Steel, not the American Steel, and Lowell returns to the organization. Kind of interesting. It's a Spanish organization, so it's interesting to see how they're actually going to work out. I know they have the infrastructure and the resources to succeed as an organization, but they don't necessarily have the players. So it'll be interesting to see what they can actually get going. And Naylor, I don't know if you have any comments on that one, since you don't really know who Movie Star Riders are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Movie Star Riders. First time I saw like this headline and saw Steel, I thought they were talking about the American Steel. So it would be very interesting to see that, but obviously it's not. It's not the American Steel. It's Lucas from Lucas Lopez actually. Yeah, I don't really know too much about them. I don't really know too much about Movie Star in general. So I guess it'll be kind of interesting to see if they can pull their weight.
Right, exactly. And then the other one I just want to highlight is Cloud9. They benched Tens, who I thought was honestly their second best player behind Automatic. He stepped up in I forget what tournament. He stepped up in one tournament and carried the team actually. So he's benched, and Sabroso's coming on, who played for CLG the last time he had a big shot in an organization and was kind of terrible. So hopefully he can turn it around, but I don't think this is the right fit for Cloud9.
I definitely agree. I'd say Automatic is top, and then Tens is right behind him. It's kind of weird to see that they would bench Tens unless maybe there was something within the organization saying, "Hey, Tens, are you cool with it?" Yeah, sure, whatever. We don't know. I would love to see Automatic Tens, Mixwell Kusta, and then Subrosa for the trial and take out Daps for the trial period at least, and see how that plays out. But I mean, they took out Tens instead of Daps. In my opinion, that's a little iffy there.
Right. So who's your favorite player in your favorite team in case listeners haven't listened to our first two episodes?
Oh, come on now. It has to be Liquid in the Stewie 2K, man. Stewie 2K came in with this tenacity, this high energy, this meta, not meta change. This surprise to the meta. If he throws a smoke and you know that you're playing a team with Stewie 2K, you gotta watch that smoke for your life because you never know if Stewie 2K is gonna come out and kill you. Love that. Love it, love it, love it.
Right. And I am a fan of Tarek, who was on Evil Geniuses. Followed him since his CLG days, and he's killing it right now. And obviously, Stewie and Tarek both have a major with Cloud9, but they're both on different respective teams now, and they'll be back together. But speaking of Cloud9, we both used to really enjoy Cloud9. I know we talked about their roster update, but we really enjoyed Cloud9, especially during the major run. And I think part of the reason why we like Cloud9 was because of your Stewie and my Tarek. But overall, that organization is great, and the players really just meshed the time. But we actually have a special guest today who also was a fan of Cloud9. He's going to touch a little bit on. His name is Jollyball. We've played video games with him for a while. He's actually one of our real life friends as well. So, Jollyball, say hi.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How you guys doing today? I am the special guest, Jollyball. If Derp and Guzzy don't mind me interjecting on the whole Cloud9 scenario, do you guys mind about that?
Go for it.
Go
Have
for it.
at it.
Devil's advocate, go for it.
Yeah,
Listen. I know Stewie was Derp's main go-to guy. I understand
Yes, sir.
Derp. I understand the whole thing about him. Don't get me wrong. Great guy. But if you really want to go back to it, I really think, I know you guys might have some problems with this, but I really think Shroud was the main go-to guy. I understand he was not the top fragger. I understand that. But he was the guy to go to for the comms. He would have been the top guy to push through. He would have died first, understandably. But he realized that I apologize for that. That Stewie and Tarek would have been the guys that come ahead and take his position So he would push through, die first, and then have the callouts. Therefore, in my mind, Shroud was the top guy on the Cloud9 experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, Stewie, great guy. Tarek, great guy. My ideas, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I know Naylor likes Shroud. Big fan of Shroud there.
Oh, I love Shroudy. I mean, how can you not? His raw ability, like it. He played many roles in C9. He played entry fragger. He played lurker. He played kind of all around. Played to the best ability that you could, so to say, because his pure ability just to aim and frag was insane. And yes, he wouldn't hit every single shot because no one hits every single shot. But if you look at like his highlight, if you look at anyone's highlights, they're good. But Shroud, in my opinion, is probably number one in NA, just raw, pure aim and ability. Every single FPS he goes to, it's just raw aim, and it's insane.
See, that's Derp. You have a great point. I have to agree with you there. So Shroud is one of those guys that can go to any game and almost always dominate in. But if we're going to talk about CS as a whole, I think Simple probably has to be my top guy to go to CS as of lately. I don't know. It might just be some of his plans. It might just be some of his crazy tactics that he has. But I think Simple, as of lately, has to be the guy to go to.
I mean, there's a reason why people say he's number one in the world, but it also depends on the team around him and his role. Like, he's number one in the world recently from his opping and his plays there, but now he's switching into a rifler role with Guardian coming back, so it's kind of interesting to see how well he's going to do in the rifle aspect.
Don't get me wrong. You definitely have a great point about that. But I don't know. I feel like he has that ability to fill the whole spectrum from pistol to rifle to long range. I mean, he just has that. He just has the tenacity to go out to be the best that he can. To go out and just do the best for his team. I don't know. It's just something that I have. It's just something that, from watching him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been playing CS for years now. I have always. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been watching Shroud when he played CS. That was my go-to guy. As of lately, Simple has been it. But it's just because he has that ability. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Let me know what you guys think.
I mean, I would agree with you. Simple is definitely one of the top tier players in CS. Period. I also want to kind of hop into what you were saying about just raw skill and raw, like, if you got him a pistol, he would do it. If you got him an SMG, he would do it. If you got him a shotgun, he would do it. All, etc., etc., etc. Whatever kind of weapon he had, he knew how to use it, and he knew how to do it well. In my opinion, I think Swag Pearson, or Braxton Swag Pierce, unfortunately, he didn't really get his time to shine because of the whole I Buy Power fiasco. But I think if he was actually not banned because of that, he would absolutely be one of the top players in CSGO today. Hands down. He just had that raw power, if he had a gun, he'd kill you. Like, obviously not all the time, but he had the ability to kind of clutch out. Even if he had a pistol and versing all AKs, he could make it. He could get it done. He had that very kind of like scary feeling. Like, if you were gonna verse Swag, you had that kind of like gut-wrenching feeling in you. Like, okay, I have to be extra careful on this guy, and all of a sudden he peeked and you were dead. While you were thinking that you had to be careful about him. which is I love just watching like highlights on Swag just out of shout out to the video. Everybody hates Swag. It's amazing video. Everybody can watch it. Give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the creator. Subsid him. Yep, chat subsid him. But yeah, I love Swag. He's probably one of my favorite NA kind of pure skill players out there.
Right. I think he is too. I just think it comes down to the whole match fixing thing with iBuyPower. I mean, I think he could still perform at a top tier level. It's just organizations aren't willing to take on that burden because they know they can't get into the top tournaments of the year because of his back ban. But I guess let's go ahead and switch over. We've done CS quite a lot, so let's go ahead and switch over into some other first-person shooters. And I know Jolly Ball here is really animated about some other ones. So I guess at this point, we'll just let him talk about whatever game, and then we'll make comments on it, honestly.
Thank you, Guzzy. If you don't mind me talking about it, I feel like as a whole, the game Black Squad, I feel like the game really, really doesn't get the credit that goes behind it.
So before you go farther, where can you find Black Squad?
Black Squad is a
Steam.
stream game. It's a Steam. Thank you, Steam. Not a stream. You can stream it, but it's a Steam game. It is. I want to say, Guzzy, if you can't, I don't think it was a too expensive game. Was it now?
It's
Did
free.
we pay for it? It was free. Yeah, you could pay
Was
for
it free?
in-game. You could pay for in-game items, but it was a free game. And I think we ended up doing 2 free like DLCs and got some items out of it. But
I want to believe you. I definitely want to back you up there. There was definitely two different things that you could go and download that were definitely free. Pretty simple. But the game itself
Was free.
It definitely is a free to play. I am looking it up right now.
And inside the
On
game,
Steam.
there is the aspect of like how CS has the skins. There is a small marketplace for skins in Black Squad to sell and whatnot.
Guzzy is definitely correct. There is a chance to download cases. You have to download the correct case, though. There was the case aspect. There's 2 different cases that you can download and buy. One is a primary. Not a primary. A time limit to the skin. Most of the skins were a 7-day purchase.
Right, and those were the free skins. There were some that, if you actually paid money for, they're obviously permanent.
Yes, exactly. You had to pay. So some of them you actually did have to pay to get the skin. And then, basically, in a sense, piggybacking onto CSGO with the whole stat track scenario, the Black Squad game did not have the stat track. It just already had the kills registered into the gun, which I already think was a good aspect of the game, and it had a whole bunch of different customizations. Different customizations to the gun. There was the whole different DMRs, LMGs, SMGs, rifles, pistols, and melee weapons that did not need the whole stat track scenario where you had to go and pay a whole bunch of money just to try to get this exact gun. I really, really enjoyed the fact that no matter what you had the kill with, it told you. And then you could do the whole... what am I trying to say, guys? The whole
accountability of how many kills you got.
Yeah, basically comparison. You compare 2 guns, so you compare one gun to the other gun. So you can pull up, let's say, the M4 to the M14, the MK14. You could look up the whole damage ratio, the recoil, the rate of fire. It was just. I'm sorry. Sorry for cutting you off, but I feel like it was just. I feel like it's just a game that was underrated. That should have been near the top tier for. Graphics were there. The whole fire and PvP aspect was just. I feel like it was just on point. I feel like it was just to the point.
I agree with you, just to a certain extent. Yes, it should have had more popularity, but at the same time, it didn't really have that competitive it that every other game had. So CS:GO had that competitive feeling where if you died, you died, whatever Search and Destroy kind of feel. But it kind of felt like you could easily hold angles, you knew where to look, obviously people would kind of learn how it was, but the feeling of the game and the movement was just so butter smooth rather than Black Squad. I don't want to say it wasn't butter smooth, but it was kind of a little chunkier than CS:GO, which is not really to say that it's chunky, but it's not buttery. So it's kind of in the middle kind of floating aspect where it's not perfectly smooth, but it's not chunky as can be. The competitive aspect, I didn't really see any competitive aspect. We didn't really play too much as a team together where we kind of went into competitive action. We kind of just played team deathmatch, kind of got used to the game. Kind of fell off once WoW came out.
You're supposed to say once we got close. I apologize for cutting you off there, but I definitely want to agree with you there. The whole Black Squad appearance was you had to play the multiplayer and the TDM. You had to play the whole TDM aspect just to rank up to get to the whole competitive. What was it? I don't want to. I don't want to be exact, but I don't want to be close. But you had to get to around Chief Master Sergeant.
That's another thing I didn't like about it. We had to level up way too high, in my opinion, to actually play.
No, I want to agree with you there. I definitely want to agree with you there. You had to play way too much TDM just to be able to play comp. CS:GO. If we want to jump back to that real quick, you had to play about let's give or take 5 games.
Well,
just to be able to play comp.
That was back then.
Okay, you understand that was back then, but if we're going back to Black Squad, you have to be able to be a certain rank. You have to play. You have to play the game. You have to know the game, and you have to know the fundamentals of the game. CS:GO back in the day, all you had to do was to. I know we all 3 played back in the day together. You had to play about 3 games just to be level 5.
Yes, but for competitive play in CS:GO, we had to play. I think it was maybe.
Was it 10 games? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
But you can only play, I believe, 3 or 4 competitive or unranked matches per day. So you had to wait another 24 hours to play, either 24 hours or next day on the hour system. I'm not really sure. So you had to take at least 2 to 3 days for you to play competitive on CS:GO.
I want to agree with you there. I do want to agree with you there. I want to thank you for rejogging my memory. You definitely have a better memory than I do, but you are 100% correct. Once you said that, I 100% agree with you. You definitely did have to play. I want to say 3 games a day, and then you had to wait a full 24 hours to play another 3 games, and then another 3 games, and then another 1 game just to get the competitive aspect. Black Squad, though, you have to play Kyle, Guzzy, Derp, Apologize.
We played a lot of Black
But you
Squad in
have
order
to
to
play
comp.
a lot just to play comp. I mean, we have played at least 100 games.
Maybe.
100
okay,
games
okay,
just to
but
get
let's-
comp.
Let's break it down though, right? So when you see CS:GO, they say allow up to 90 minutes. It's, to be honest, like we can compare the games in the first-person shooter aspect of it, but we can't compare the games in the gameplay super much because CS:GO is a much slower paced game. It's a different game style. Now it is a search and destroy type game. Black Squad does have search and destroy, but there's other aspects to Black Squads that CS:GO doesn't have. CS:GO is a 90-minute game on average. Black Squad was probably a lot shorter. Now we never really hit the comp part. I think I had gotten to that rank, and then WoW Classic came out, so I kind of just dropped it. But
100% you did.
the games on Black Squad were a lot quicker. So you can play deathmatch on CS:GO. That could take anywhere from 10 minutes to 20, 25 minutes, depending on how good the players are in your lobby and your skill level. On Black Squad, you could play a game that takes 15 minutes because you've destroyed all the objectives or you complete a team deathmatch. So it's this whole comp idea of it takes a lot longer in Black Squads to get to it. Yeah, they make you level up a lot more to understand the game and unlock a lot of features of the games with the guns and everything. But it's also a different kind of gameplay aspect of it that CS:GO doesn't have. CS:GO is literally, okay, you can play casual and you can play search and destroy. You can play team deathmatch and just shoot people, or you can play the competitive mode, which is literally playing search and destroy. Whereas I believe Black Squad has different modes for competitive.
So, not to interject you, Guzzy, but Black Squad was mainly just a one-sided thing. So I know when you and Derp, me and Derp played. I apologize. It was mainly just in a objective-based game. I know myself. I was mainly going for the kills. I mean, I would drop 30 plus kills easily.
He
in the
means
game.
10, not 30.
Aha!
Very much so.
Aha! Very funny.
I believe I was always
Anyway.
top fragging, top.
Anyway, but yes, Guzzy himself would no. Derp, I'm trying to cut you off here, but easily Guzzy was a objective based person, and I would exactly Guzzy was a
correct.
Guzzy
for
was
kills.
no exactly Guzzy was not a kill based person. He was hey let's destroy objective Charlie or Bravo or whatever it was, and then myself and Derp would play the support role and cover him, and we'd hold angles and we just frag out. I mean, we would drop 30 plus kills a game easily, while Guzzy would destroy. He would just sit there and knife the objective all day long. But at the end of the game, Derp and I would end about 5th and 4th. But Guzzy would always sit at that top frag.
Just
Don't get
because
me wrong.
he was knifing the objective and getting the pops from the objective. But I mean, we any team always needs that kind of person that would be just objective straight forward. And I think with us 3, it was like a good role where we had either 2 people fragging out and 1 person going for objective, or 1 person fragging out, 1 person kind of covering, and then 1 person going for objective. It was a good composition that we had together as a squad, which is really, really nice for us as a team that we play together, so to say.
I 100% agree with you. Guzzy, what do you feel about that?
I agree. I mean, I don't mind getting the kills. I think it's fun being top fragger, but it gets boring when you can keep killing people and playing the objective to get the most points. I really enjoy games where you can rank up, and when you can't rank up because you've hit the max level, that's when I start to get bored. or I create a new account so I can rank up. I really like the aspect of being able to get XP and not have wasted XP.
No, I 100% agree with you there. I definitely have to agree.
The one thing I do want to say about Black Squad is, like, I know I said it was a little bit clunky, but at the same time, like, if I'm remembering correctly, like, you were able to jump and shoot and it actually be accurate, which
Right.
I don't know if I like or don't like. Because, I mean, it's not realistic. If you jump and shoot, you're not going to shoot where you're aiming at, obviously.
Oh no,
But
I agree with you there.
Yeah, but in a video game, it's kind of nice to have that kind of aim and
Aspect.
shoot aspect. Yeah, but like obviously they had a little bit recoil, so you had to know your recoil limits. But while you're kind of running and gunning, it was kind of a little bit easier for you, which I did really enjoy. It kind of gave like a little bit of a benefit, but not too overwhelming where it was kind of game breaking.
But at that sense, it honestly wasn't a recoil compared to CS:GO. Exactly, Guzzy. Thank you. It wasn't really a aspect compared to CS:GO where you had to pull down and you had to go left to right.
Yeah,
Black Squad was more or less just pull straight down about a centimeter and you were hitting the target 99% of the time. The whole jump and shoot aspect, don't get me wrong, was a little irritating. It was dead on 99% of the time.
But when you talk about recoil, every other game has a different recoil pattern. If you want to talk about Black Squad to CS:GO to Rust, where AK is pretty much a backwards S where it hops left to right while pulling down. And then you look at CS:GO where it's a straight pull down, then after you get to a certain point it's left to right. Every recoil pattern is going to be different because every game is going to be different. So it's kind of nice to see, like, it's not as hardcore kind of focused on recoil and knowing the gun, knowing the pattern of the gun, knowing this about this gun, knowing that about the gun. It's kind of more focused on teamwork and having people do this kind of an aspect for a team going for the objective. Having this kind of a team aspect going for the kills, having this kind of people with the support. Like, and within the game, I don't think we even mentioned it, they had classes. So there was support, there was assault, there was
I want to agree with you completely. No, it wasn't really defensive, but I'm sorry for cutting you off there, but in a sense, you were definitely correct. There was a defensive aspect. There was,
what was it? The RPG that
it was a recon class. I think I want to say it was a recon.
You're right.
It was a recon and something else, but it took a certain amount of XP to be able to unlock the different classes within the larger class itself.
It's like the subclasses, yes.
Yes, there were subclasses within the class.
Actually, we can say abilities. How about we put it like that?
See, that works. That works. Yes, abilities is a good term. So I'm going to say you have your full WASD, and then it was, let's say you have it XX ZXCV, and you had different classes within that class. I mean, I just feel like, in my personal opinion, it was I'm not gonna say great, because it wasn't great. There was definitely things they could fix about it. There was aspects of the game that could have been better, and they could have nerfed about it. The whole class situation, I feel like was a good thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to know what you guys feel about the whole class within the class aspect.
Guzzy, your thoughts?
I guess I'll go. I'm a fan. I like. It kind of gave a Call of Duty feel of having kill streaks. I enjoy Battlefield, but Battlefield doesn't really have kill streaks like that unless you're a squad leader.
Exactly.
I like the aspect of having like a kill streak type thing. the thing that gets me with it, I think, is the fact, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but the fact that you can be a sniper and then get a support these subclasses inside of it, where you're literally not a sniper anymore. Like your kill streaks are something that's literally boosting you from the opposite of a sniper. I think it's good and bad, and I really I'm mixed about it. If you're a sniper, you're going to be stealthy and be picking people off from a distance. So, like, you really shouldn't probably have a rocket launcher, but it is what it is. Overall, though, I think it does give a good flair to the game. What about you, Derp?
I agree with you. Like you were saying, if you're a sniper, you're gonna be kind of stealthy. You shouldn't really have a rocket launcher, but at the same time, there's not really any silencers for sniper rifles, so it's not really too stealthy. It's kind of like the enemy knows where you are. You kind of know where the enemy is. It's kind of like, hey, who's gonna kill who first? But guess what? I have a rocket launcher. So I do enjoy like the aspect of that. It'd be interesting to see if they do want to implement, like, if you are a sniper rifle, then you kind of have to be more stealthy with it. So maybe go with recon, where it has the other sniper rifle, I believe, the UAV, and something else along those lines. I think like the team UAV, something along those lines. So if they were to kind of shorten it, or not shorten it, but kind of lock it down to which class can get or which primary weapon can get which class, I guess they would say. But then they're kind of fall into issues of, hey, I want to be a running gun, but then when I have my special, I kind of want to snipe and kill from afar. So it'll be, I don't know if they should do that, because it doesn't seem like that's the kind of game that they are kind of going for. I feel like what they are going for, they have right.
Right,
As
and
a general.
Yeah.
so one of the things that I personally enjoy having the aspect of a lot of people on these teams being able to pick their subclass. In my head, it sounds like a good idea. I don't know if coming out of my mouth sounds like a good idea, but it'd be kind of interesting to me to see. Okay, look, I think it's worth noting. What is it, like 16 versus 16 in the game that we were playing? They have a couple different game modes and whatnot, and we really only played the same 3 maps, so that kind of hurts.
See, that's the thing I was going to say, that was a problem.
Right.
That it was definitely only 3 maps.
I mean,
But
so
then
Derp and I did play a different map, but we were playing a different game mode. So the game mode we played definitely only had 3 maps, and I would love to see the developer bring out more maps. And I think part of that is on the scale of the developer. If this was someone like a Valve, someone like an Activision, I think this game would be a huge success. The fact that it's a smaller developer, I think, kind of hurts it. But that's not to say this game can't take off. I really think it could. Getting back to these subclasses, though, I think being able to have this game of 16 versus 16 that we were playing and say, listen, we only have room for 4 of this, 4 of that, and 4 of these other 2 classes, right? So you're kind of limited to choose which one you pick, instead of having everybody have this rocket launcher or the sniper subclass or the sentry gun subclass. Like, you actually have to have variety in it. One, it allows people to actually explore all the kill streaks or the subclasses and understand what they do. So you can understand the meta, you can understand what's going on the map. 2, it allows for variety in a game, so that way instead of everybody having the sniper class shooting this objective, literally shot after shot after shot, and literally killing the game right away, it gives you this aspect of, oh my god, there's a sentry gun, we gotta take out the sentry gun, and then the objective doesn't fall as quick. So I think adding a little perspective into that of let's limit the amount of these subclasses we can put in might actually change the gameplay a little bit. The only issue is people coming into a game late, they are going to be stuck with a class, and then some people play on computers or aren't able to have such high-speed internet that they're going to log in late every single time, and their class is going to be gone, so they really don't get the full benefit. But it'd be kind of interesting to see what they could do to kind of change the game pace a little bit.
Well, jumping off of that, if people have lower or slower, I should say, internet, they can wait until everybody's connected and then give like a 5 or 10 second kind of grace period.
Right.
And then after that, go for choosing classes if we kind of want to, if they were to do it that way, I should say.
Right, and the only issue with that is how long do you give someone to log in before you start that grace period? Because you could be there for 5 minutes. Like League of Legends, when I was playing it way back when, a lot of people didn't have great computers, and I was on a potato computer myself. Like, it took me a while to log in, and at that point, like, what's the cutoff point to disconnecting you from the server? But yeah, like that grace period is actually a really good idea. That if they wanted to explore it, that's a great avenue to look at. So, Jolly, do you have any other comments on Black Squad before we switch it over to one more FPS that you like?
No, honestly, I really don't. I think Black Squad was a well-made game that could have had a couple buffs, had a couple nerfs, had a couple different. And just all changes to the game. But in general, I do think it was as it stands right now, it's a well-made game.
All right, well that works. So let's end this with one more FPS. So what's your next FPS you want to talk about?
Me in general, so I'm a I'm gonna send it out to you guys. I'm gonna let you guys take a pick on this one. So I play a decent amount of Battalion and a about equal amount of Rainbow Six. I know you guys have played a little bit of both. What would you guys prefer to talk about right here?
I mean, Derp, if I might be able to speak on both of us, I think we've talked about Siege and how it's not necessarily our kind of gameplay in previous episodes.
Agreed.
So I guess for this one, let's focus on Battalion because we all have played it. We did play it together. I know we didn't necessarily play it to the max because there were issues. But I guess let's just focus on Battalion. Is that all right, Derp?
Yeah, that's a-okay with me.
Cool. So
Okay,
Jolly.
cool. So Battalion 1944. Definitely a pretty solid game. Not gonna lie. Solid game. Coming out of the box. Based off World War II. From me being personally a World at War kind of guy. That is my Call of Duty game. That's the game I will go to 99% of the time.
Love that game.
I have to agree with you there. I mean, Modern Warfare or World at War. Modern Warfare. Great game. Great game. But I mean, my go-to game will always have to be World at War. It might change. It might change coming up with the new COD coming up. Cross my fingers. But Battalion, as of right now, with the whole World War II aspect behind it, is solid. The only problem that I've had with this game is the whole recoil. Not gonna lie, the recoil is a plus and a minus. Plus and a minus. There is little to no recoil in guns that should be through the roof. And the whole jumping aspect, jumping and shooting aspect is, I mean, if I were to go and take my rifle now and go jump and try to shoot my gun, let's be honest, I wouldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Let's be honest, I probably wouldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. But I mean, Battalion 1944, you could hit the double bullseye of a dartboard 99% of the time. Guys, would you like to interject on this one because I know you guys have done it yourself and dealt with the whole accuracy aspect.
Got Naylor, if you want to go first.
I mean, it was kind of like a nice change of pace for FPSs as a general. Everybody always likes to run and gun every once in a while, but I agree with you. It was kind of I kind of want to say a little bit overboard because you could jump and instead of peeking the corner strategically, you could run, jump, and still shoot accurately at the sniper down range while you're in
100%.
mid-air shooting with a Tommy gun.
100%. It wasn't even just a Tommy gun. It was, sorry for interjecting, but it was every gun. It was every single gun. It was a Tommy gun. It was a pistol. It was a sniper rifle. It didn't matter what it was.
Yes.
It really didn't matter. You could run, jump a corner, and just pop them in the head no matter what.
Exactly. So it's like it's nice and at the same time it's a little bit overboard. So if they would kind of bring down, I'd say bring down the accuracy of jumping just a little bit. Maybe a lot. If they're going for a run and gun kind of game, then bring it down a little bit. If they're going for like a realistic game, which I don't really see them doing, then bring it down a lot of it. But other than that, the game was a solid game. It kind of a long time ago it came out as a early access. It kind of hit hard. Everybody loved it, and then it died off. And then it just recently came back up a few months ago. I believe it just got out of early access, if I'm correct. And it kind of blew up again because everybody was like, "Hey, remember this game? Let's try it out again." It was kind of the same dealio. It kind of hit hard and then died off real quick, which is
Sorry, I definitely have to agree with you there. It came out, died off, but then to add on to your whole thing there, streamers found the game, made it popular again. Everyone jumped on the whole bandwagon aspect. Don't get me wrong. I myself jumped on the bandwagon. Don't get me wrong. I think I may or may not have convinced Guzzy and Derp to download the game. I may or may not have. But it was definitely one of those games that looked absolutely solid. Can you guys agree, disagree, add on to that?
I agree. Isn't it in beta? Or something like that? Like it's early access or something.
It might not be anymore. I haven't played in a hot minute.
It was enjoyable. It did give that World of War feeling, and it was enjoyable being able to play some of those World War II guns. I think really what kind of hit it off for me to not want to play the game anymore was the multiplayer aspect, and we haven't touched on it yet. The three of us were playing, and it was a 6-man team, and there wasn't a single game where all three of us could be on the same team. One of us was always on the other team.
just saying it's not.
No,
right. That
100%. That part
was really bad.
Yes.
And then the aspect of competitive, which I enjoy. I mean, I don't think you could ever really go wrong playing on an outside server. Face It is a great server to be able to play on. I think the issue there is the mix of skill level. Like we were saying, Derp in the town hall about Fortnite, where they're actually allowing you to mix in with players that are actually your skill level. And I know CSGO does that when you get ranked and whatnot, like all the games do, but I played a couple competitive games on Face It with Battalion and got thrown into people that were diehards in this game. And I was like, didn't this game just come out? How do they know every call out? How are they doing this? How are they doing that? How do they even see me here? Like learning the angles. Like it didn't even throw me in like a beginner competitive. And I think that's the only issue I've really had with Face It, even on CSGO when we play Face It, is it throws you in to this whole sphere of competitive gaming rather than putting matchmaking of the skills together. and I'm sure that's just a face it way of doing it. Just let's just throw everybody in. You're going to play on the top server. You're going to end up playing with top people. But I think the multiplayer aspect of it actually had a lot left to be desired for me. I'd like to see that changed, and maybe it was because it was in beta or early access when we played. But not to be like harsh or anything, but the fact that it's just 3 people on a 6-man team, they can't even link up on the same team. That's kind of that's a huge turnoff to me. Being able to not play on the same team as your friends.
Absolutely. I mean, like you're saying, Face It is fantastic, third party team. I guess I don't know exactly what to call it. It's fantastic application, fantastic service. But the fact that we could not get on the same team, even after trying to party up or do everything that we could, we would not even be in the same game sometimes. It was very, very annoying and very kind of just off-putting for a game in general.
Right. Now, Jolly, what are your thoughts overall multiplayer to wrap this up and end the episode?
No, I definitely agree with you guys. It was definitely a struggle trying to play with each other. I mean, call outs. I mean, let's be honest. TDM, you're not trying to call outs, but us as the tryhards, I guess, quote unquote.
Speak for yourself. Just kidding.
Ha! Funny. As I guess as myself would call. I mean, I always would appreciate a nice call out for TDM because most TDM matches, comp matches or comp maps, and it worked out because always, even though we had a party, 1 or 2 people would end up on a different team. But don't get me wrong, it was always the best when you were able to kill your friend on the other team and hear them complain about it.
That's always
just,
true.
It was, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was always the best to try to target one of your best friends.
I agree.
Sorry, go ahead.
For that, I'd say I would agree with the that feels more of like a kind of like a warm up kind of aspect where you're going against your friend in the same like voice chat, so you're talking to him and you're trying to one up him at the same time, so you're not really making too much calls, so it's not that great of a warm up, but it's kind of just a fun little go around and have fun and play and kind of get the mouse feel, get the keyboard feel kind of warm up rather than call out warm up. It was definitely fun trying to seeing like me and say just me on my one team and you guys on the other team, having you kill me and then me killing you, then you killing me, etc., etc. It was really fun to see like the aspect of how different our game styles were, where one person would kind of peak at one certain time, where the other would kind of jump out around the corner and kind of surprise. It was really fun to see like the different aspects of our gameplay against each other at that.
Definitely, I would 100% agree with you there. In all honesty, excuse me, I'll be honest with you guys. I have I'm not as typical as your gamer. I have a nice fold-up table with a
nice fold-up table.
Yeah, I mean, don't get it wrong. Fold-up table, bro, solid. But you wanna write your call-outs on your table with a nice grease pen, bro? It's great. But I mean, the whole game mode with one person on the team by himself, with 2 people on the team, it's great at the same time because you can hear call outs from your side, but then you can hear call outs from the other side as well. I mean, it's probably not the most practical thing ever, but at the same time, it really is. it's just one of those games that, I mean, have fun. Have fun.
Right.
I'll let
So
you guys take it from there.
I guess that really sums up, or not really sums up, but wraps up this episode for us. I guess thank you, Jolly, for coming out. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we can see you on another episode soon.
Hey, I
Yeah.
interjecting, but I really do appreciate you guys having me on today. I appreciate all y'all
Well, thank you. We
tuning
appreciate
in,
that.
whatever.
So, Jolly, as someone who I know we just told you about our podcast, but as someone who doesn't know where to find us, let me tell you where. And that way you can tell your friends. So, we are the Gaming Grounds Network. You can find us on Twitter at Gaming Grounds N. Derp, what's your Twitter?
Derp GGN.
And I'm Guzzy GGN. So follow us individually as well. You can find us on Facebook. The page is called Gaming Grounds Network. Find us on YouTube, Gaming Grounds Network. And as for listening to these podcasts, so Jolly, when you want to listen to yourself.
Whoa. Guzzy, let me interject you here there. Let me just say this. It is as easy as opening up your iTunes account. That easy. You
Right,
type
so
in.
We're on Apple Podcasts. What do you type in?
You type in. Guzzy, hit him with it.
Gaming Grounds Network. We are also on Google Podcasts.
It's so
Gaming Grounds Network.
How?
Yeah.
Guzzy, let me just say this. There might be one or two of those accounts. You hit the account. Most Apple accounts already have it. But if
Correct.
you don't have the Apple account, it is the account with the controller on it.
Oh, it's an antenna, but yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Mine was an account, not an account.
Okay.
It was a controller.
So again, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Eventually, we want to do highlights on Facebook, and you can find us on other smaller podcast options. Anchor.fm is our go-to place. So if you have any questions about our podcast, feel free to tweet it at us, like our Facebook page, and leave comments, concerns there. And or go to YouTube and comment on these episodes we're doing. We do have multiple series. Again, this is a bi-weekly series for the time being about first-person shooters. We have Town Hall every Tuesday, hashtag Town Hall Tuesday. And we have another episode series, myself and Morgs, that I believe I push out on Friday nights, or Fridays, I should say. So be on the lookout for that. I know Derp and I and Morgs have an upcoming episode where we have a couple interviewers coming in that are in the esports industry, so that'd be very cool as well. Again, leave a like, a follow, a subscription. Any kind of feedback is very appreciated. And for that, I say we're out. We'll see you next time.